This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, June 2nd, but the year was 1835. P.T. Barnum and his circus begin their first tour of the United States. It was on this day, 1924, that President Calvin Coolidge signs the Indian Citizenship Act, declaring citizenship to all Native Americans. It was on this day, 1928, that Kraft introduces Velveeta cheese. It was on this day, 1935, Babe Ruth, 40 years old, announces his retirement from baseball. It was on this day, 1952, that 650,000 metal workers go on strike in the U.S. It was on this day, 1 year later, 1953, that 27-year-old Elizabeth is formally crowned Queen Elizabeth in England. It was on this day, 1977, New Jersey allows casino gambling in Atlantic City. It was on this day, 1981, Barbara Walters famously asks Katharine Hepburn, "If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?" A question that will haunt her for the rest of her career. It was on this day, 1989, 10,000 Chinese soldiers are blocked by 100,000 citizens in Tiananmen Square, Beijing, China, protecting students who were demonstrating for democracy. It was on this day, 2004, Ken Jennings begins his 74-game winning streak on Jeopardy! But that was June 2nd in the past. This is June 2nd, 2020. We woke up to the number of cities that have erupted seemingly overnight to chaos, confusion. More than 140 United States cities. Protests in New York City over the death of George Floyd descended into chaos as small factions of demonstrators looted several high-end Manhattan stores. Stores across the boroughs in Soho and mid-Manhattan. Around the same time, footage began to show the looters. In the East Village, focus on Walgreens, CVS drugstore, GameStop, bicycle store, all looted. The night began with several peaceful demonstrations, but once darkness fell, the protests became unsettling. Beside the looting, protesters and police clashed at a number of spots. Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York, late that evening, stopped by Barclays Center to assess the situation. He said, "Just checked on the situation around Barclays Center. Lots of protesters moving around. Plenty of police present. On my way now to check Lower Manhattan." And while the mayor of New York City is checking on the looters, unknown to him, his daughter is being arrested in a downtown Manhattan protest. He says, her involvement surprised me. Speaking at his City Hall press briefing, he said his 25-year-old daughter, Chiara, did not inform him or his wife of, quote, her intention to get arrested, close quote. And he first found out through a press inquiry at his office. He says, I love my daughter deeply. I honor her. I'm proud of her, and she cares so much. She was willing to go out there and do something about it. She was acting peacefully. She believes everything she did was in the spirit of peaceful, respectful protest. His 25-year-old daughter was taken into police custody around 10:30 that evening. Police declared, as a result of unlawful assembly at 12th Street and Broadway, the mayor's daughter, who was ultimately given a desk appearance ticket, was allegedly blocking traffic on Broadway, and she was busted after refusing to move. According to the police report, which was tweeted by the sergeant, and then later that tweet was deleted, Chiara, the mayor's daughter, was with 100 other protesters at the intersection of 12th Street and Broadway. She was yelling and screaming, and unknown objects were being thrown in the direction of the police, the report says, which added that Chiara was advised by the New York Police Department to leave, but she refused to do so. De Blasio said, I trust my daughter. She is an incredibly good human being. This is Ken Smith reminding you it happened today, June 2nd, 2020.